What are some not fun facts? Whiskey distiller Jack Daniel couldn't remember his safe combination and kicked the safe in frustration. Got an infection in his toe that killed him. Newborn harp seals of 10 days before they are abandoned by their mother. They need to learn how to swim before the ice melts so that they won't drown. Showbill mothers will only raise one chick. So when 2 eggs are laid, the mother will leave the nest to let them hatch. When those eggs hatch, one is always aggressive and violent, and the other chick is always the timid and sensitive one. The violent one immediately rushes out of the egg to assault the timid one on sight. When the mother comes back to see the aftermath, the timid one limps to its mother for comfort and protection. The mother then takes her time beating the timid one to death with her bill until it's nothing but a mangled lump of meat and bones, and raises the aggressive chick. I saw this in a Netflix documentary on the animals of Africa. David Attenborough actually had to manifest into corporeal form after the end of that particular scene to console the viewer and remind us that nature can be scary as fuck sometimes. Edit, words and shit. Edit second, for those asking the name of the doc. It was called Africa and was made by BBC back in 2013. I just found out an hour ago that it's no longer on Netflix. https://www.radiotimes.com/news/on-demand/20,191,105/David Attenborough Africa watch stream Netflix/ Edit third. Don't know why I'm using Roman numerals. They don't always kill the weak one by beating it. Sometimes they just ignore it and let it die of starvation or dehydration, which is actually what ends up happening in the documentary scene I mentioned. https://yao2b/4arglepore_x4. As one commenter pointed out, the beating usually happens if the weaker one is injured or is born with physical disabilities. From an older comment of mine that fits this question. The Challenger astronauts didn't die when the shuttle exploded. The stack actually just broke apart under aerodynamic stress, and the explosion you thought you saw was just the expanding cloud of hydrogen from the external tank burning. The forces involved in the breakup were very survivable. The crew cabin was left intact after it separated from the rest of the orbiter and may not have depressurized. There's evidence to suggest some or all of them were conscious at least part of the way down, if not the entire time. And photography of the disaster shows the cabin falling without spinning in a nose down attitude, meaning no excessive forces to knock them out. The impact with the ocean was what actually killed them. It took 2 minutes and 45 seconds from breakup to impact. It's possible that some or all of them were conscious and aware the whole time. If you're attacked by a bear, it won't necessarily try to kill you like other predators would. It just starts eating. If you're going to be murdered, chances are very good you've already met your killer. There is a whale that has been searching for a mate for the last 5 years. It has been wholly unsuccessful because its voice is a different frequency than other whales. So much so that whales run from it. There are most likely people that are stranded at sea or in the desert right now that will probably never be found. Demodex mites live in the pores of your skin and eat your dead skin cells and oils. They also climb out at night and have a gangbang on your face. Worst part, you're not even invited. The optimal height to hang someone is between 35 meters. The point of hanging isn't to suffocate the victim. It's to break their neck. Any less than the rope will strangle them to death, and any more they have a chance of being decapitated. That scene at the end of Sherlock Holmes, spoiler, where Lord Blackwood falls off London Bridge and gets hanged by a chain would actually have ripped his head clean off. Edit, spelling. Cysticercosis is when a tapeworm manages to lodge itself inside your brain, causing big cysts to form in your head, causing headaches and seizures. Male dolphins have been observed to gang rape females, kill dolphin babies that are not their own so their mums are available again, and for absolutely no reason other than entertainment brutalize poor pussy young. Up until the 1980s, babies were put on painkillers during surgery. It was believed they did not feel pain. There is a genetic disorder that causes your body to replace your muscle tissue with bone over time. Edit, for those who are wondering. It's called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, FOP, and currently there is no cure for it. Also, it's a genetic disorder, not a disease. Me apologies for those I confused with it. Edit 2. So I misunderstood. Again, it is a disease. Just not a contagious disease. Goats apparently have the most human-like vaginas of all animals. Banana republics were coined in the book Cabbages and Kings. About small countries based around single exports that were taken advantage of by large corporations. That company taking advantage of them for the book rebranded and is now called Chiquita. The Great Molasses Flood, sometimes referred to locally as the Boston Massacre, occurred on January 15, 1919, in the North End neighborhood of Boston, Massachusetts. 21 people drowned in a wave of hot molasses. There once was a person that had a 300% mortality rate when he did his surgery. https://io9gizmodo.com/legend off the surgery with 300 mortaliter at 1,684,894,531. IR equals G. https://io9gizmodo.com/legend off the surgery with 300 mortaliter at 1,684,894,531. IR equals G. Conoraxin Fatsamphone, who had escaped Jeffrey Dahmer, was killed shortly after he was returned to Jeffrey Dahmer's care by police. Over 300 people are believed to have jumped from the World Trade Center on 9/11. One of the falling bodies killed a fireman at the scene. On top of that, there are still over 1,000 victims whose remains have not been found. The youngest girl to ever give birth was 5 years, 7 months, and 21 days old. https://n wikipedia.org/wiki/Lina_Medina. Seriously, please like and subscribe, and comment something nice for your favorite Reddit slave. Rabbits eat their babies if stressed out. The pirilla was one of the most barbaric forms of torture ever devised, using electric shocks while the victim was secured to a metal frame to cause unimaginable pain. People diagnosed with autism, high or low functioning, are 10 times more likely to try to commit suicide than the average neurotypical person. In Australia, there is a plant called the Gympie Gympie, otherwise known as the suicide plant. When touched, it delivers multiple stings with a long-lasting neurotoxin that is so painful that people would rather kill themselves than live through a few days of excruciating pain, and then a further several years of lesser pain, or full reoccurrence in the correct conditions. If the tiny hairs that deliver the stings are not removed, or are buried, the pain will continue for years. The pain, which has been described as feeling like being doused in hot acid and being electrocuted simultaneously, is so bad that people have been driven mad by it. Horses who have been stung by this plant have literally thrown themselves off cliffs. An ex-serviceman named Cyril Bromley is known to have fallen into one of the plants during WWII. Driven mad by it, he had to be strapped to a bed to prevent himself from committing suicide. Another rather unfortunate officer is known to have shot himself in the head after using one of the plant as leaves as toilet paper. Rather than live with the pain in his rear end, he chose to end his life. Male octopodes have multiple detachable penises. During mating, they simply rip one off and hand it to the female, who then swims away and, quite literally, fucks herself. A crocodile's stomach can melt down bones due to its powerful gastric juice. Dolphins rip the heads off fish and use the bodies to masturbate. Oeridonimpato is not necessarily a literal term. It can take quite a while to die from blunt force trauma. Addiction cost Americans roughly $740 billion. Estimated. Can't put a value on loved ones lost, but yay not so fun fact. In their Greek mythology origins, centaurs are all males and procreate solely by rape of human females. Michael Cardamone raped a 15-year-old girl, served 6 years, then got parole. He kidnapped a 49-year-old mother of 2, gagged her, beat her with a hammer, injected battery acid into her, burned her alive, then ran her corpse over with the lady's own car twice. I had to witness this guy go to court to appeal his murder charge for my work experience, and he really gave me the chills. Edit. Here's a link to an article https www. google.com/amp/amp. ABC. net. AU/article/11,451,952. Almost all autoimmune diseases include ongoing pain as one of their symptoms. Most people with one autoimmune disease have several more. More women than men get certain autoimmune diseases. But men get them too. It takes an average of 7 years to get a valid diagnosis. In the meantime, the patient may be suffering on and on. Feeling hopeless, patients are often told that it's all in their heads. A single tiger killed 434 people in India. There are worms that can live in almost every part of the body, even your eyes or brain, and they eat you. 93% of humans are dead, and almost all of them were forgotten within 3 generations. Edit. A source. https://www.prb.org/how many prb have you ever slash. For a very long time, beheading was used as a form of execution because it was believed it resulted in instantaneous death. For quite some time, there was suspicion that this wasn't the case, but many rules and regulations governing the use of cadavers limited doctors from thoroughly investigating enough to challenge the practice. However, at the turn of the 20th century, a French doctor, Beauroux, was permitted to make an investigation of a severed head from a criminal named Languille. Immediately after guillotining, he notes his observations. Here is what I was able to note immediately after the decapitation. The eyelids and lips of the decapitated man worked in irregularly rhythmic contractions for about 4 or 6 seconds. I waited several seconds longer. The spasmodic movements ceased. The face relaxed. The lids half closed and the eyeballs, leaving only the white of the conjunctiva visible. Exactly as in the dying, whom we have occasion to see every day .. it was. Then that I called in a strong, sharp voice, Languille. I then saw the eyelids slowly lift up. Without any spasmodic contraction, I insist advisedly on this peculiarity, but with an even movement, quite distinct and normal, such as happens in everyday life, with people awakened or torn from their thoughts. Next, Languille's eyes very definitely fixed themselves on mine, and the pupils focused themselves. I was not, then, dealing with a vague dull look, without any expression that can be observed any day in dying people to whom one speaks. I was dealing with undeniably living eyes which were looking at me. Every person who was ever decapitated was most likely aware of their predicament for a short time following their death.